Oscar Piastri got past Lewis Hamilton on the last lap, and this is how he did it, going all the way around the outside. What a...
Lewis Hamilton's highly anticipated Ferrari debut has ended in disappointment as the 7-time world champion struggled to a meager 10th place finish in a chaotic Australian Grand Prix. The British driver, who had described the move to the Italian team as the most exciting period of my life just days earlier, admitted his first race weekend in the famous red livery went a lot worse than he had expected.
At least I got 1 point, but well, did I get a point? I don't know if I did get a point, so yeah. But yeah, overall, not what I was hoping for.
Hamilton's performance at Albert Park fell dramatically short of the expectations surrounding his blockbuster switch to Ferrari after 12 years with Mercedes. The 40-year-old qualified a modest 8th on Saturday before managing to secure just a single championship point in Sunday's incident-filled race, which was won by McLaren's Lando Norris ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Hamilton's former Mercedes teammate George Russell. It was very tricky and went a lot worse than I thought it would go, Hamilton told Sky Sports F1 after the race. The car was really hard to drive today. For me, I'm just grateful I kept it out of the wall, because that's where it wanted to go most of the time. The difficulties Hamilton faced were evident throughout the race, which started in wet conditions, dried up, and then finished with another rain shower. This challenging mix of conditions appeared to exacerbate the problems Hamilton was experiencing as he adapted to his new team and car. I didn't have any confidence in the car and was nearly in the wall most of the time, Hamilton said. It felt like I was in the deep end. Overall, not what I was hoping for, but there was so much to get accustomed to get used to, with all the switch settings and changes that the team, were throwing at you over the radio. Hamilton's frustration peaked when Ferrari kept him and Leclerc on slicks as rain fell with 13 laps to go. While this briefly put Hamilton in the lead, the strategy backfired as conditions worsened. I hung out as long as I could, got in the lead at one point, Hamilton explained. Just the guidance with how much more rain was coming was missing there, so I think we missed out. The information I got was it would be a short shower, real quick. At the time, it was only at the last corner, so to me I thought, the rest of the track was dry, I can keep this on track if that's all that's coming, then more came. The strategic miscalculation was acknowledged by Ferrari team principal Frederic Vasseur, who admitted the team had made the wrong decision regarding when to switch to wet tires. It was the first time we had to communicate between the pit wall and car. We can do a better job. It was not a clean one at all, Vasseur said, promising to review the matter before next weekend's Chinese Grand Prix.
Det är alltså 15:e platsen vi mäter på nu för både Russell och Hamilton.
Kommer fram i det här partiet där de har som mest problem. Vi kan se i nederkanten av bilden hur mycket det hoppar upp och ner för det. Och det här påverkar honom in i den här.
Communication issues between Hamilton and his new race engineer Riccardo Adami were apparent throughout the race, with the driver repeatedly asking Adami to leave him to it when the engineer attempted to provide information. Despite this evident frustration, Hamilton praised Adami's efforts after the race. I think Ricciardo did a really good job. We're learning about each other bit by bit, Hamilton told reporters. After this we'll go through all the comments, things I said and vice versa. Generally, I'm not one that likes a lot of information in race unless I ask for it. He did his best today, and we'll move forward. Sky Sports. F1 analyst Karun Chandok highlighted this communication challenge as a key area for improvement. One of the things that came out of all the radio messages we played is he and his engineer, Riccardo Adami, need to have a bit more time to understand just how much communication Lewis wants and what type of information, Chandok noted. Race engineers and drivers will spend more time together than they do with their partners in the season. It's still round one, and they just have to find their feet, maybe have a conversation between now and China, he added, pointing out that Adami is carrying on what he feels is natural as an engineer, but he's dealing with a different animal, and Lewis needs a different type of communication. Beyond communication issues, Hamilton's struggles stemmed from the Ferrari SF-25's handling. Despite 162 laps of Bahrain testing, he wrestled with a car vastly different from the Mercedes he drove for over a decade.
It's difficult to know where we stand with everyone else, but we just tried to keep our heads down and just focus on our job. It was, Carlos was incredibly quick. Kimi was really quick. There was, it was difficult to know who's where. But it looks like it's going to be close between us all.
This adaptation process is something Hamilton had anticipated before the race weekend. I'm still learning this new car that's quite a lot different to what I've driven for my previous career in the sense of Mercedes power coming into Ferrari power, he said. It's something quite new, different vibration, different feel, different way of working. The whole team works completely differently. Hamilton's teammate Charles Leclerc fared only marginally better, finishing 8th after his own strategic misstep and a mistake during the late rain shower. For a big part of the race, we thought P5 was secured, Leclerc commented. Then, obviously the rain arrived and everything changed. The first one to blame is myself, after the mistake I've done exiting turn 11. Despite the disappointing result, both Hamilton and Ferrari's leadership emphasized that one race does not define their season. It's been a tricky day overall, but we'll look into it, Leclerc said. It's only the first race of the season. Yes, it's not the first race we would have hoped for, but looking forward, we need to remotivate ourselves for Shanghai and recover from what was a disappointing first weekend. Hamilton similarly focused on the potential for improvement. I think there's a lot more performance in the car than what we were able to extract today, he said. I think we can improve that in the next race, hopefully, and get the car in a sweeter spot. Vasseur insisted Ferrari's true pace was stronger than Sunday's results suggested, citing tire overheating as a key issue. Friday to Q2 is more representative, he said, though he admitted McLaren remains ahead. For Hamilton, pressure will mount as he strives to restore Ferrari to championship glory, something they haven't achieved since 2008. The contrast between Hamilton's struggles and the success of his former team Mercedes, with Russell securing a podium finish, adds another layer of scrutiny to his performance. However, as a 7-time world champion with a record 103 race wins, Hamilton has demonstrated throughout his career an ability to overcome setbacks and find success even in challenging circumstances. With the Chinese Grand Prix just 1 week away, Hamilton and Ferrari have little time to analyze and address the issues that hampered their performance in Australia. The Shanghai International Circuit will present a different set of challenges, potentially offering Hamilton a more favorable environment to demonstrate the true potential of his partnership with Ferrari. For now, though, the dream start to Hamilton's Ferrari career has turned into something of a nightmare, a sobering reminder that even for the most successful driver in Formula One history, adapting to a new team and car remains a formidable challenge. The 2025 Formula One season begins with a bang this weekend at the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. All eyes will be on 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton as he makes his highly anticipated Ferrari debut after 12 years at Mercedes. In a statement ahead of his first race in the iconic Ferrari Red, Lewis Hamilton delivered a warning that reveals the immense psychological battle he's facing. Hamilton said this during Thursday's press conference.
Through the years, the pressure that I put on myself has always been 10 times higher than any other pressure that can be put upon me. And I think I've not joined this team and been made to feel any pressure. I have an expectation from myself. I know what I can bring. I know I can deliver. I know what it's going to take to do that, and it's just getting your head.
This stunning admission shows Hamilton's mindset as he prepares for what could be the most challenging chapter of his illustrious career. The British driver, now 40 years old, is under extraordinary scrutiny following his blockbuster move to the Scuderia. But can he handle the weight of expectation that comes with driving for F1's most famous team? Hamilton further emphasized his cautious approach. He said, "No expectations this weekend, just getting used to this new car." Is this Hamilton managing expectations, or is there genuine concern about Ferrari's competitiveness? When asked directly if he's happy with the Ferrari car, Hamilton responded,
Yeah, so far I definitely feel so. The first few days we've only had obviously 3 days in the car, but it's difficult to know where we stand with everyone else, but we just try to keep our heads down and just focus on our job. It was, Carlos was incredibly quick. Kimi was really quick. It was difficult to know who's where, but it looks like it's going to be close between us all.
Despite these measured words, Hamilton couldn't hide his excitement.
This is the most exciting period of my life.
A man reborn, or setting himself up for disappointment. Make no mistake, this isn't just another driver changing teams. This is the biggest transfer in Formula One history. Hamilton's move to Ferrari has already generated financial earthquakes in the F1 world. Ferrari merchandise sales have skyrocketed by an astonishing 400% following the announcement. The company's value rose more than 10% to nearly £5.5 billion after revealing Hamilton would join their ranks. Hamilton's first Ferrari-related Instagram post became the most liked F1 post of all time on the platform, accumulating a mind-blowing 5.7 million likes. The hype surrounding this partnership is unprecedented. The British champion has signed a 2-year deal worth over £50 million per year. But the real prize? The chance to make history by winning an 8th world championship that would break Michael Schumacher's record. And doing it with Ferrari would be the ultimate achievement. Former Ferrari engineer Rob Smedley called the pairing the perfect match, saying, "Lewis transcended the sport a long time ago. He's a driver who has that magic of his own, and if you link him up with Ferrari, who have that aura too, then it was always going to trigger this synergetic explosion. From the outset, it seems to me a marriage made in heaven." But not everyone is convinced. Former Ferrari chief Mattia Binotto casts doubt on the partnership. He said, "He is a driver maybe at the wrong side of his career. I would say if you would not have signed Lewis today, Max Verstappen would have been in a Ferrari next year." Will Hamilton prove the doubters wrong and deliver Ferrari their first driver's title since 2007? The pressure is immense. Lewis Hamilton isn't leaving anything to chance in his quest for glory with Ferrari. He's assembled an elite support team to ensure his transition is as smooth as possible. Team principal Friedrich Vasseur has a long history with Hamilton, having been his boss back in GP2 in 2006. This existing relationship could prove crucial in Hamilton's adaptation to the Italian team's methods. In a strategic masterstroke, Hamilton has brought along familiar faces from Mercedes, including engineer Loic Serra and deputy team principal Jerome D'Ambrosio. His longtime trainer and ally Angela Cullen has also made a triumphant return to his corner after departing 2 years ago. With manager Mark Hines and Father Anthony also by his side, Hamilton has created the strongest support network possible. He's left no stone unturned in his preparation. F1 pundit Martin Brundle said, "The Ferrari move does seem to be working for Lewis. I've never seen him smile so much. He seems really energized and invigorated by this new opportunity. Lewis has been very smart too. Obviously, he knows team boss Fred Vasseur very well from times of old, but he's had an advance party at Ferrari to integrate as quickly as he can into the team." However, Brundle also highlighted the challenges ahead. He's got a new race engineer, Riccardo Adami, and has got to understand how Ferrari works, which will be diametrically opposed to how Mercedes works in terms of culture, I suspect. In terms of procedures, Lewis is going to have to find out where all the green buttons are, and I expect it will take him a little bit of time to get used to that. Along with speaking some Italian, Hamilton is even learning Italian to fully integrate with the team, a sign of his total commitment to making this partnership work. While Hamilton's Ferrari debut dominates headlines, the 2025 championship battle is shaping up to be one of the most competitive in years. In a shocking prediction, former driver Ralf Schumacher has declared that 4-time defending champion Max Verstappen won't win the title this year. Speaking on the Sky Germany podcast, Schumacher stated, "Last year, it was clear. Red Bull was very strong at the start of the season, but then they couldn't handle the car. Verstappen was the rescue. However, he will have to get used to everything coming to an end. I don't think he has a chance." Instead, McLaren's Lando Norris enters as the championship favorite following their strong showing in preseason testing and Constructors' Championship win last year. Two-time F1 champion Mika Hakkinen has thrown his weight behind Norris. Absolutely yes. Hakkinen told the Hindustan Times when asked if Norris is ready to win the title. Why? Because I experienced many years of racing without success, but it was part of my development to become a good racing driver. You have to maintain your criticism about yourself. That way, you keep developing and pushing. That means you're taking risks. Lando experienced all these elements in his career. He's been taking risks. He's been critical of himself. He's been pushing flat out. I believe Lando is ready. He is flat out ready to achieve his goal. McLaren has further strengthened their position by securing Oscar Piastri's long-term future. The Australian driver has signed a multi-year extension that will keep him with the team until at least 2028, leading team boss Zak Brown to claim they now have the best driver lineup in F1. With Mercedes now led by George Russell alongside rookie sensation Kimi Antonelli and Ferrari fielding the formidable duo of Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, the stage is set for an epic battle for supremacy. While the excitement around Hamilton's Ferrari debut reaches fever pitch, there's an elephant in the room. His performance over the past 3 seasons has been well below his championship-winning standards. Hamilton is entering this new chapter off the back of what many consider his worst year in Formula One. His qualifying record against Mercedes teammate George Russell was particularly concerning, with the younger British driver dominating their head-to-head 19-5 last season. Even Hamilton himself was alarmed by his lack of pace, famously admitting, "I'm just slow." The 7-time world champion claimed just 2 victories from his last 69 appearances at Mercedes, a shocking statistic for a driver of his caliber. His last race at Albert Park ended prematurely with an engine failure, something he can ill afford in his Ferrari debut.
Leclerc has that inside line. Perez goes off the track, cuts the chicane. Off goes Leclerc. Through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff coming out of the final corner. Perez and Leclerc.
Lewis Hamilton's debut with Ferrari was expected to be nothing short of legendary. Fans and experts alike believed that his arrival would mark a new era of dominance for the iconic Italian team. However, just days before the first race, unexpected reports have sent shockwaves through the Formula One world. Red Bull's advisor, Helmut Marko, has made a bold claim that has left fans questioning Ferrari's decision. According to Marko, Hamilton is not even on the same level as his teammate, Charles Leclerc, at the moment. If this statement holds any truth, Ferrari's dream of returning to championship glory could be in serious jeopardy. Instead of leading the team to success, Hamilton might struggle to match the pace and performance of Leclerc, raising concerns about whether Ferrari's gamble will pay off.
Down the inside, has he outbraked himself? Yes! It's Lewis Hamilton who once again wins the Grand Prix.
He was very fast.
After spending more than 10 years with Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton shocked the Formula One world by announcing that he would be joining Ferrari. This unexpected decision came at a time when Mercedes was struggling to keep up with the incredible speed and dominance of Red Bull.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's recently the 10-year anniversary of me being at this team, and everyone's put together some photos that have been taken along the journey, and I wanted to just, we're going to pick a few of them and talk through some of them. So here we go.
Hamilton had been the king of F1 for several years. From 2017 to 2020, he was nearly unbeatable, winning 4 championships in a row and cementing his place as one of the greatest drivers in history. However, everything changed in 2021. Red Bull, led by their young and talented driver Max Verstappen, rose to power. They built a car that was faster, more powerful, and more consistent than Mercedes's. As a result, Hamilton and his team found themselves constantly trying to catch up, but they simply couldn't match Red Bull's performance. With Mercedes no longer able to provide him with a title-winning car, Hamilton decided it was time for a fresh start. His move to Ferrari was a bold step, fueled by the hope that the legendary Italian team could give him the chance to fight for championships again. However, whether this decision will lead to glory or disappointment remains to be seen. With Ferrari, Hamilton saw a fresh challenge and an opportunity to fight at the top once again. But with Leclerc firmly established as the team's leader, the real question became, could Hamilton outshine the young Monegasque driver on his own turf?
Both drivers were clearly limited by the car. Many would say the sport's most record-breaking driver moving to the sport's most record-breaking team is a no-brainer. It's supposedly the seat every driver wants, and the chance to race in red doesn't come along.
Pre-season testing in Bahrain gave fans their first real look at Lewis Hamilton's new journey with Ferrari. The exciting part? Ferrari seemed to be in great shape, showing strong performance by finishing 2nd and 3rd in the timing charts. However, there was also a concern. It was Charles Leclerc, Hamilton's teammate, who appeared to be the faster driver. Even though Hamilton managed to set a time just 0.05 of a second quicker than Leclerc, there was an important detail to consider. Leclerc was reportedly facing a technical issue that reduced the amount of time he could spend on the track. This raised questions about whether Leclerc could have been even faster if he had a trouble-free session. This is where Helmut Marko's brutal assessment comes in. Speaking to Sport DE, the Red Bull advisor didn't hold back. In Bahrain, Leclerc was the much faster one. Marko stated, "That's normal. He knows the team, he knows the car. Hamilton drove a lot of laps, gradually improved, but was not quite at Leclerc's level." George Russell shared his thoughts on Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc's new partnership at Ferrari, praising Leclerc's talent and anticipating a close battle between the two. He noted that having two top-tier drivers in the same team can lead to both healthy competition and potential tension. Speaking to BBC Sport, Russell, who raced alongside Hamilton at Mercedes, acknowledged the seven-time champion's abilities but admitted that Ferrari presents a new challenge. Charles is a fantastic driver, no doubt about that, so I'm going to be really intrigued to see how that pans out because they're two amazing drivers, Russell said. It's quite an interesting dynamic, but I think it'll be close between the two of them. Russell's words suggest a more balanced fight than Marko's comments imply. But the reality remains. Leclerc has been Ferrari's main man for 6 years. Will Hamilton struggle to break through? Overall, he seems excited to see how the rivalry and teamwork between Hamilton and Leclerc will play out throughout the season. Major concern for Hamilton is qualifying pace. Last season, Mercedes' inconsistent car made it difficult for him to extract top-tier performances on a single lap.